Hi, I'm Jason Sullivan of Rathbone Group, and this is On Subrogation, your free video resource for subrogation matters. This video covers the economic loss doctrine in the context of product liability cases. The economic loss doctrine is a doctrine that limits a plaintiff's ability to pursue a claim in tort. The rule is that if a party suffers damage to a product only, they can't pursue the manufacturer of that product for damages in tort. In other words, a breach of their duty that constitutes negligence that caused the damages. Rather, the court wants those parties to resolve based on the contract or any warranties that were in that exchange or purchase of the good. So you may still be able to pursue a manufacturer, but you're limited to the warranty or the contractual obligations that might exist. You can't sue in tort if the only damage was to the product itself. This matters a lot in subrogation because we may have different statute of limitations. Warranties frequently are limited to 6 months or a year, although the tort statute of limitation in that particular jurisdiction might be 2 or even 3 years long. If you purchase a product with a 1-year warranty and 18 months after purchase that product fails, you're not going to be able to pursue that warranty claim because the warranty has expired. You would want to look towards a tort claim, and the economic loss doctrine, where it's applied, knocks that out and doesn't allow you to sue in tort. The majority of states, 28 of them, do apply the economic loss doctrine in this way. If your damages are only economic, in other words, only damage to that particular product, you can't sue in tort. You're limited to contractual obligations. There are states, about 17 of them, that apply an intermediate status. They do apply the economic loss doctrine, but they have some exceptions. One is the dangerous defect exception. In that case, the court's going to look at, was the product unreasonably dangerous, or was it unforeseen or sudden loss? There's an Illinois Supreme Court that went into this and talks about a fire alarm. If a consumer purchases a fire alarm and that fire alarm fails and it doesn't go off when there's a fire in the building, it's foreseeable that that failure is going to cause the loss that happens when there's a fire. However, if that fire smoke alarm caught on fire itself, now that is a loss that's unforeseen and it puts the person at danger, and therefore they wouldn't limit damages under the economic loss doctrine. Another exception that some of these intermediate states apply is the disappointed expectations. Again, the courts look at the foreseeability. If the failure and resulting damages were foreseeable, then they're going to apply the economic loss doctrine and the plaintiff can't sue in tort. They may have a warranty claim, but there's no tort obligation. Finally, another exception that some states apply is the independent duty rule. And this is best described by the relationship between the parties and their duties. If I go to a manufacturer and I say, I'd like to buy 100 of your appliances, and they say, that's great, these are wonderful appliances, and they all meet the certain specification and standard, and they're going to be delivered to you within 2 weeks. And I say, great, send them on over and I'll pay for them. They change the specifications and they no longer meet this high standard, and they send me something that's a lower standard and not what they've promised to send me. You might look at that and say, well, wait, that's a contract claim. You contracted to buy these certain appliances and they said they'd send them, but they sent you something different. And some of the states that apply the intermediate exceptions to the economic loss doctrine will say, well, wait, we have misrepresentation here. This is essentially fraud. They said they'd send you A, they really sent you B. They didn't tell you about the change, and that's a misrepresentation. And we're going to allow you to sue in tort because that's a different duty. It's an independent duty from just delivering the product. Had they delivered product A exactly as you had asked and they failed, well, then there's no independent duty and you'd be stuck with the full economic loss doctrine. But in that case, because there's fraudulent misrepresentation, you're going to be able to pursue under that independent duty theory. And again, that's only some states that have that exception to the economic loss doctrine. Finally, we have the minority rule, and the economic loss doctrine is not going to apply. If a party only suffers economic damages, in other words, the product they purchase is the only thing damaged due to the failure, the court's still going to allow them to pursue the claim in tort. As noted at the outset of this video, that might really be important if the underlying warranty or contractual clauses have expired, and now you've got an extended statute of limitations to pursue the manufacturer. When you have a case with a product, that is always one of the things you're going to want to look at. And let's just run through an analysis of how to approach the claim. You have a homeowner. They purchase a home and it includes a dishwasher. That dishwasher then fails. It's no longer working. You might have an economic loss doctrine claim because you want to pursue that manufacturer, and now you're going to have to wonder, do we have a contractual claim? In which case, if you're buying a used home from a prior owner with an already installed dishwasher, that dishwasher very likely has an expired warranty. It's no longer valid. So now you're going to look, do I have a tort claim against the manufacturer? If the only failure was to the dishwasher itself, the dishwasher just stopped working, there was no other damage, no one was injured, then you have an economic loss. Just the dishwasher was damaged, and if you don't have a warranty claim, states that enforce the economic loss doctrine, you're not going to be able to pursue that manufacturer in tort. If, however, that dishwasher flooded and you have water damage throughout the entire home, all kinds of issues because of water that flooded due to the defective manufacturing of that dishwasher, now you may have other damage. Remember at the outset, we were looking at economic damages, damage to the product only. But now we have damage to other things in the house, potentially the floors, the walls, carpeting, cabinetry, all kinds of issues where water is not good to have, and now you have additional damages. If that damage is considered to other property and not just the dishwasher itself, then the economic loss doctrine is not going to apply, and you're going to be able to pursue that claim. There is plenty of litigation out there in many states about whether or not the property is separate. The damaged property is separate from the dishwasher. Some of the cases involve integrated products, and you might think about this if you have a car subrogation case. If a car suddenly catches fire and you think that there was a manufacturer defect, well, cars have tens of thousands of components in them. If it's some wiring in the radio that came manufacturer installed, courts frequently will look at that as an integrated product. They'll say, it doesn't matter where the wiring is. If that was delivered to the consumer as an integrated product, the wiring, if it fails, even if it was a separate part from a separate factory that got put into the car, that is going to be an integrated product, and that is not considered separate property. We also have the finished product test, and that's looking at what did the consumer purchase. If we go back to our homeowner who buys a home with an installed appliance, well, that appliance may not have been new or original to the home. It was installed at a later date, but to your insured, it was purchased along with the home. It came with the home as they purchased, and so courts that look at that finished product test will look at that and say, well, the home was purchased as a finished product. Even though the appliance itself isn't necessarily integral to the home, it is a finished product, and therefore any damage that's caused to the rest of the home is considered the same product as the appliance. So in conclusion, if you do have a product defect type case, you are looking at a manufacturer of a product, you're going to want to look at what state is the loss in. Does it strictly apply the economic loss doctrine or not? Are there some exceptions? And then what are the damages that you have? Is it clearly other property or not? And if not clearly other property, is there some other exception in the jurisdiction you are in that's going to allow you to pursue a tort claim? This is especially important if you don't have a contractual or warranty claim anymore. For On Subrogation, I'm Jason Sullivan, and that's the long and short of it.